Thank you. For the Greens, Mrs. Joly. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Commissioner, for your presence. Last weekend, the ecologists in this Parliament published a report on IKEA's tax optimisation practices. Currently, despite limited access to the group's financial information, we have estimated the loss to the European taxpayer at €1 billion over 6 years. And there are several shortcomings encouraged by several member states at the heart of this. The Netherlands, and to a lesser extent Luxembourg, allow non-taxation of dividend income and royalties channeled through those two countries on their way to Liechtenstein. Belgium, which should have looked at the coordination centres, has allowed the deduction of national interest for IKEA. Despite the package on offer in late January being an important step forward, it will not get rid of all the tax ploys that big companies like IKEA are using. Other areas of work are required, such as harmonising the tax base in Europe or minimum taxation rates. In the light of this report, Commissioner, can you confirm to us, firstly, that the Commission's proposals tabled in late January will not, in fact, put an end fully to IKEA's practices and that other measures are therefore necessary, and that national Belgian income is a harmful regime and that the Commission will include this in their Code of Conduct agenda for a remorseless scrutiny of it, and the non-payment of interest of transferred royalties requires a swift agreement on effective minimum taxation in Council. What percentage do you believe to be the right one, and what are Member States championing? Thank you.
Monsieur le Commissaire.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mrs. Joly, let me begin by thanking you and the Greens for that report. Any contribution is, after all, useful, and I see that this exchange of views is progressing, and I'm happy to see the quality on the rise. In terms of the published report that you talked about, that seems to be based on exemption at source as allowed by the EU legislation, and then the patent box, and then the third country system, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, in this case. It's a complex structure, and a range of instruments are available in the Commission toolbox to fight aggressive tax optimization in the single market. Firstly, discussions are currently underway to modify the directive to ensure tax at source.
La Commission soutient activement cette approche.
That's where Member States are adjusting their patent box regime to ensure that it is in line with the economic substance criterion from the OECD. Discussions are underway, and we are steering this through in the Code of Good Practice working group, and will examine it if progress is insufficient. In terms of relations with third countries, the package adopted in late January contains some rules. We are looking at enhanced good governance rules, and we have adopted a standard for automated data exchange, which will address the question of real beneficiaries in opaque structures. As far as Liechtenstein is concerned in particular, can I just recall last year we signed a bilateral agreement on abolishing banking secrecy, and discussion is underway in the Code of Conduct group on potentially harmful regimes. We've also worked with Switzerland, Andorra, and I'll soon be in Monaco to sign an agreement with Monaco. In total, then, I believe that the 27th of January package, combined with parallel measures, because the package isn't the whole story, are an appropriate response to the questions raised in the report. And of course, a further examination is required. Some of the phenomena raised in the report aren't fully recovered. Well, at least if that's the case, it will be my responsibility to try further to enhance the necessary rules to fight harmful tax avoidance and aggressive tax planning. You talked about the state of Belgium, and it does seem to us that the framework for Belgian national revenue should be enhanced to prevent companies, enterprises abusing the system. And there, once again, you're in line with what we're saying. I think work is pushing us in the same direction and pushing us closer together. Thank you for your useful report.